Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today we're going to get into the last HTML class, and congratulations for making it all the way through. Now, as far as this one goes, we are going to get into hyperlinks. So we're going to get into how to hyperlink text and also how to hyperlink images. So maybe if you're trying to sell a product or trying to get someone to advertise your site or whatever it may be, how do you go about it in this format with static pages with HTML. Now, one thing I want to mention is I'm going to show you the right method of doing things, but I'm going to mention there is a wrong method of doing things. So just keep that in mind while we're going through here. The code that we're using is the same as before, and I already got it written out so we don't have to worry about me writing it while we're going through. But basically, to open up a hyperlink, what we need to do is open up with an A and then put in href equals. And the thing that you might have seen in my previous videos is where we're using a double quotation. You can use a single quotation and get the same thing as long as you start or end it, start and end it with the same type of quotation. It will work. So note that. Some people like to use single quotations. Some people like to use double quotations. So just note. And you can even have something like right here where you use a single quotation and then a double quotation on the same line. So that's possible as long as anything between the quotations, it's there and on both sides of whatever's in between is the same type of quotations, being single or double quotation. Just want to mention that real quick in case if you run across some websites and you're checking out their code and trying to figure out why is there single versus where I was teaching it double. So as far as this goes, basically what we have here is the person, if they click on a B, which is going to be this, it will take them to the following website. Now, you might say, okay, that's great. I'm going to be doing a, product review or what it may be, but I don't want the person to leave my site. I want the person to stay on my site so they keep browsing and whatever it may be, and I can have advertisers doing their things in the background, so it helps with the finances. Well, what you need to do is this with target equals underscore blank, and that actually forces it to open up in a new tab or new window depending on the version of browser you're going with. Probably just more or less a new tab. So with that, you can keep the person at your site and just do a new tab right there. Now, you might not want to do this. I'm going to show you something later on something that you might not want to have a new tab to open. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump on in. So if we scroll on down and we have the B, note that when I hover over it on the bottom left, it gives us the websites. This is the browser telling us what websites what. So we go ahead and select that and it opens it up on a new tab. Now, what we can do is something like this where we have a text. You might see this in many articles or many other things where someone's writing a bunch of text. In the middle of it's going to have a hyperlink. Like, so maybe some review on the new Samsung phone or an Apple phone or whatever it may be, and they'll put the name of the phone and it'll be hyperlinked to the product page. Well, how that is happening is basically you have a paragraph, and then what you do is you have the person type in the only the part that they want to be hyperlinked. So like before, we start the hyperlink portion with a and that, and instead of in the middle being the entire text, we just put the part that we want hyperlinked, and we can even close it off and continue writing as long as we close off the paragraph tab, as we've seen there. So an example with that is going on into here is if we select that, it does the exact same thing. So with that, let's go into the last one. What happens if you want the individual to, instead of going to a different website altogether? So for example, I'm reviewing a product for whatever, and I'll just have them go to Amazon to buy it, and there'll be like affiliate link or something like that. What happens instead of doing that? I just want them to go from, I don't know, my home page to an about page or to some other page. Well, it's the same thing as we did before with the images. What happens here is in the hyperlink area, in the quotation area, is if the HTML file is within the same folder, then you just put in the file name and .html. However, if it's one up, so for example, I'm having this one, it goes to the website and then tries to find home.html on that. It goes you need a dot dash for that. And again, like before, in case you missed it, let's say for example, if it's in Dropbox, the HTML file, what I'll need is a dot dash for that, another dot dash for that. So for each one that you're going up, you need a dot dash. It's pretty important. But what happens if it's a subfolder? So for example, there's a folder within here and it's going further down, which happens all the time. Well, it's like before, is what you do is you put a folder name in slash and then whatever the HTML file is named and then .html. So it's fairly simple in itself. So with this, let's go ahead and run this. And what we want to do is right here, and it'll open up a new tab. So okay, now we're opening up new tabs even though we're on the same site. And okay, the person wants to go to the about page, and it's going to open up a new tab. That makes no sense, and that's actually bad. Because okay, the person goes from about page or whatever page, and each page you go to is going to open up a new tab because you're using the target. You're using the target equals blank. So what we need to do is simply take that out. Let's save that. Let's go back to here and refresh that page. And what we want to do is now it's going directly there on that same window. It's fairly important to realize that you can do stuff like that. Now, one thing that you might want to do is hyperlink images. So what you need to do is you start the hyperlink and everything like up here, but in the middle, instead of we put a B right there, we need to put the image itself right there. Everything else is the same. So let's go ahead and jump on in, and select that. It just opens that up. So basically, it's this, except for we put put the image in the middle instead of B. So it's fairly easy in that aspect. So as far as that goes, that's pretty much about it. Feel free to check out the code and whatever, and feel free to copy and mess around with it and whatever. And keep in mind that HTML is the basic. It's the basic level. Most websites use HTML. Now you might have a website builder that builds the website for you. Oh, you want to put the image right here, your text right here, the advertisements over here, and whatever it may be, and you may be able to move it around like you want, but it's building the HTML code for you. The HTML is still being used. It's fairly important, and that's something that you need to realize when you get into enterprise world where you're not going to have these builders. You have to build stuff yourself or fix it in many cases. So with that being said, what you need to keep in mind with this is HTML, as I said from start, it's static. It's not some login whatever. It's not something that if one person can go to the page and another person can go to the page and they both see something different, even small, might be a color, might be something else, then something else is in play. Something else caused that. So just note that HTML is very, very basic. It's a lot of memorization, and Google is your friend on this one. There is no shame in going to someone's site. Like, say, for example, if we go, just play shortcut right here, and if we go to my site, if we go and do a inspect, there is no shame in going in here. And by the way, this is a WordPress site, so you might say, well, I'm going with WordPress. Guess what? This site is built on WordPress, and it's built the HTML for me. So there's no shame on going on here and actually go here and take a look at, remember, body is what you're seeing. Head is things that will be used in the page itself. So there's no shame in going in here and taking a look at how things are done and applying it to your own website, applying it to your company's website, applying it to your own stuff. There's no shame with that. It's very common. This stuff is very public, so note that. But as far as that goes, if you have any questions, anything else, feel free to hit me up on YouTube or by email, and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. Feel free to leave a like and whatever. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Udemy, then feel free to check out my other videos, and also check out my YouTube channel. I got plenty of material on there, and check out the quizzes that I left for you on there to help you out. Now, as far as things goes, check out my other videos on coding and whatever, and feel free to let me know what you want me to cover in the future, and I'll see you in the next videos, hopefully soon.